Here are some ways we can reduce the amount of waste we create. I'd like you to discuss how effective these suggestions might be in reducing waste. You have about 2 minutes for this discussion, so try to exchange ideas, react to each other's opinions, and support your arguments with examples. Remember to interact with each other, rather than simply giving individual opinions. All right, you have 2 minutes for the discussion. Please begin.
Let's start with recycling as much rubbish as possible. Personally speaking, I think it's quite effective because people can easily rely on local recycling programs.
I see what you mean, and I'd tend to agree. Recycling has really caught on in many countries. An obvious example is the increase in recycling bins in public places. Having said that, I'm not entirely convinced it's the most effective solution because it deals with waste after it's already been created.
That's a fair point. Perhaps buying products with little or no packaging is more effective. Many companies now draw on environmentally friendly materials to reduce packaging.
I couldn't agree more. A case in point is the number of supermarkets that have started selling unpackaged fruit and vegetables. If consumers support those products, companies will probably carry on developing sustainable alternatives.
That's true. Another interesting idea is giving away unwanted clothes. Instead of throwing them away, people can donate them to others.
Absolutely. I'm completely with you on that. Some people, unfortunately, insist on buying new clothes even when they don't need them, which creates unnecessary waste.
That's certainly true. On a slightly different note, I also think reading online versions of newspapers and magazines could help. Printed newspapers often run on for many pages every day.
Up to a point, you're right. However, electronic devices have their own environmental impact. Even so, using fewer paper products seems beneficial. Also, take digital subscriptions as an example. They reduce the demand for printed copies.
That's a valid argument. What are your thoughts on buying only as much food as you need?
From my point of view, I'd say that's one of the most effective measures. Food waste creates additional environmental problems that can take on further costs for society and businesses.
I couldn't agree more. Sometimes people simply look on while food is wasted, instead of changing their habits. If we look at the amount of food thrown away every day, the scale of the problem becomes obvious.
Exactly. What's more, reducing food waste doesn't require major changes from governments or companies. Individuals can start doing it straight away.
That's a very good point. It seems to be one of the easiest solutions to implement.
Thank you. Now you have about 1 minute to decide which suggestion would be the most effective in reducing the amount of waste we create. Please discuss your final choice and try to reach an agreement.
Shall we move on to making a decision?
Certainly, for me, buying only as much food as you need is probably the most effective option.
I'm inclined to agree. Recycling is useful, but preventing waste in the first place seems far more effective.
Exactly. We were recently called on in class to discuss food waste, and the statistics were shocking.
That's a compelling point. On balance, I'd say reducing food waste should come on as the main priority because everyone can do it immediately.
I completely share that view. People should go on making more responsible shopping decisions to reduce waste in the long term. I'd even say that changing shopping habits is one of the simplest ways to make a meaningful difference.
I think we're broadly in agreement then. Although recycling and reducing packaging are worthwhile, buying only as much food as you need appears to have the greatest immediate impact.
Undoubtedly, it tackles the problem at its source and can be adopted by almost everyone.
So, are we agreed that reducing food waste is the most effective solution?
Absolutely. That would be our final decision.
Thank you. That's the end of the task.